Councilmember Authority Member Johnson.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Smith. Vice Mayor, Vice Chair Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chair Paris. We have a quorum.
Chair Zato and Member Harvey are here, so we won't do the Housing Authority. The invocation, Jeremy, come on forward. Would everyone please rise?
Before I lead the council meeting in this prayer, I want to quickly read from Romans 13 and to everybody's hearing. The Word of God says here in Romans 13, it said, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God." And that's the more reason why we come here from time to time, to lead all our leaders in the hand of God. So Father, we thank you today. We thank you for this precious opportunity you've given us, even to come together in the deliberation of all the affairs of our city. I pray, Father, today that even as our leaders are deliberating today, with all the people that are gathered here before you, I pray, God, that you will give them all it takes to lead our country, our city, and Lancaster, even in the right direction. I pray that you will direct every affairs of their meeting today, in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, mighty Father. In Jesus' name we pray. And everybody say amen.
Amen. Thank you. Will you do the pledge for us, please?
Be honored. Everyone, please join me. Right hand over your heart and begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have an introduction of the VISTA members.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Christ and members of the City Council. As you guys continue to stress that to become truly a great city, that it's important that we engage the community to become more involved in our community. And we've had a few success stories of this, including increasing the number of community events during a down economy, where we have been able to forge partnerships with our business community where they have volunteered their time and their money to help support these community events. We have also made our community safer, and in large part due to expanded Neighborhood Watch and Business Watch programs where they operate solely on the energy of our volunteers. Also, two of our more successful community programs, being Neighborhood Impact Homes and Community Wellness Homes, are predominantly reliant on volunteers who provide social and health services to the residents right in their own neighborhoods. What is the common thread? It's volunteerism. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. It's not uncommon to go to community fairs and hear residents and other participants talk about how they weren't aware that there were social services provided in the city. Or you would hear a resident say that they weren't aware of how or where to go about volunteering and giving back to the community. And even so, hearing other nonprofits and community-based organizations saying, wow, I didn't realize we had similar services and we should get together and share on resources. So what's the takeaway of that is that we still have a disconnect in our community about where the services are, what the services are, how to go about volunteering, and actually having the nonprofit organizations collaborate and share resources. So what you as a city council have done this year to set a goal is to create a new community-wide volunteer program to help connect the dots, pulling together the nonprofits, the city, our business community, and volunteers together. One of the significant milestones this year that you folks have approved is a partnership with the AmeriCorps with their VISTA program. And that's because that we both share the same vision or goals as to how do we continue to make our communities better. And so with that partnership, AmeriCorps Vista has sent us 3 of our Vista members, and tonight I'm pleased to introduce them to you, where they'll be able to talk a little bit about themselves and what they will be doing with the community-wide volunteer program that we will be handing over to them to create, develop, and implement. We have Amanda Reyes, Michelle Barone, and Clyde Cisneros here to give you a short presentation.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Barone, and I am a Vista, relocating from Selma, California, a growing town in Central Valley. I graduated from UC Santa Cruz and attained my bachelor's degree in sociology. Through a service learning class from my university, I discovered my passion for social and environmental justice. Specifically, volunteering at the Homeless Garden Project in Santa Cruz perpetuated me to appreciate the importance of how selfless service brings a community together. Working side by side with my fellow neighbors in the community allowed us to personally connect with one another. I believe that making these sincere connections while collaborating to make our world a more just place is what life is about. Therefore, I am excited to announce that Clyde and I are working on formulating a survey to assess the needs of Lancaster, as well as connecting with volunteer management programs. In addition, I will be researching innovative ways to recruit and retain volunteers, as well as examine the various training programs in hopes to utilize learned information to expand our local nonprofits and make way for capacity building. I am so thrilled to be a Vista and for the City of Lancaster and appreciate all of your support. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to this new year. Now I would like to introduce my fellow Vista, Amanda Reyes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Amanda Reyes, and I'm a Vista from San Diego. I'm an avid fan of the arts, particularly urban art and spoken word poetry, and I'm currently a student studying sociology and creative writing. I decided to partner with the City of Lancaster on their volunteer and nonprofit rejuvenation project because I support the importance of volunteers, as well as developing partnerships between nonprofit organizations. I plan to assist the City of Lancaster achieve their goals by seeking grant opportunities and creating needs-based materials for nonprofits and volunteers, such as how-tos for volunteer recruitment, volunteer appreciation, and management. It's my pleasure to be a part of this Vista team, and I thank the City for the opportunity to serve your community. And now I would like to introduce my fellow Vista, Clyde Cisneros.
Good evening, Council. My name is Clyde Cisneros, and I am from the San Fernando Valley. I recently graduated from UC Berkeley with bachelor's in biology and South and Southeast Asian studies. This is my second year doing AmeriCorps, where I previously worked at a low-income preschool in Oakland. This year, I'm delighted to build a vibrant community here in Lancaster by expanding the capacity of local resources and volunteers. With the help of my team, I'll be focusing on creating a database with more than 500 nonprofits and organizations here in the Antelope Valley. I'm very excited to outreach this community to identify common resources, to promote partnerships between these agencies, and identify services and volunteer programs that need expansion. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and we're very excited to develop this program this year. Our goal is to create a strong foundation, so for future Vistas working for the City of Lancaster, they're able to continue with this exciting project. If you have any questions, you can reach the Vista team through the City of Lancaster. And thank you so much for your time. I wanted to bring back my fellow Vistas, Amanda and Michelle, for any questions you guys may have. Additionally, we would like to say thank you to Louise and Kelvin for their support and warm welcome. Our transition to the city was very comfortable and effortless. We also wanted to thank Mark for his kindness and generosity. And last but not least, we want to thank the City of Lancaster staff for their great hospitality. Now open to questions.
I don't think I have any questions, but I just wanted to thank Amanda, Michelle, and Clyde for coming to the City of Lancaster. And as I said to you guys earlier, welcome home. We're very excited about this project, and we're excited about the outcome. And this is what our community is about. It's about coming together, partnerships, being one, and making magic happen as a community. And you guys are a great example of that, so we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, I too would like to say I want to thank you for bringing your enthusiasm. I think that that is going to be a warmth of togetherness that, and I really think that tonight I can already see just by, meeting you before the beginning of the council meeting and just your presentation. So welcome aboard and look for great things. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate what you do, and you're going to be here for an entire year.
Yes.
So we have a lot to learn in a year. Okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to skip around a little bit. We are waiting for Mayor Paris to join us. He's flying in. He should be here shortly. So while we're waiting, I'm going to move to CA1, which is the consideration of the appointment of Dave Mayshore for the Lancaster Neighborhood Violation Commission. I need a motion and a second.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Jerry, can we swear him in?
Mr. Mayshore, are you here? Oh, there you are. Vice Mayor, while they're getting rid of that, Mr. Mayshore has a significant amount of experience in community and such, so we're really looking forward to that as part of the Neighborhood Vitalization Commission.
Great.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me using your name.
I, Dave Mayshore,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental
or
reservation
purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
I will well and faithfully discharge
I will well and faithfully
the
discharge
duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Welcome, Dave. Did you want to say a few words?
Just thank you. Thank you, council, city manager, mayor, city representatives, and the community. It's my pleasure to serve. So.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to CA2, the consideration and nomination appointment of Mayor Paris to serve for the High Desert Power Authority Board of Directors. I need a motion and a second.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. Could we ask that you apologize for the late notice, amend that to also nominate yourself or someone as an alternate, just in case?
Can we just do it? We have a policy for all of our stuff that...
Maybe, can we reiterate that policy as part of the motion?
Okay.
So
as-
maybe Allison should help us there then, so that we can make sure that we make the motion.
Allison,
correct.
before your time, we have a policy, and that we voted on that all members fill in for the other members as it goes. If it's the mayor, then the vice mayor takes it, and then it goes down. So
The appropriate motion would then be to nominate the mayor in accordance with the policy, so that in the event the mayor is unable to attend a meeting, the policy would kick in.
Okay.
So that would be the appropriate motion if that is your desire.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second, let's vote. Motion passes 3-0. Okay. We're going to get an update on the Palmdale Power Plant. I get to do that. If it's okay with the rest of the council, if I take the
Absolutely.
audience?
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Okay, in the community, there's been a lot of controversy on why the city of Lancaster is opposed or why we have certain problems with the Palmdale Power Plant. So we would like to share with the community our positions. So this is the way the EIR shows the Palmdale Power Plant. All the information from what you're about to see is directly removed from the EIR. So this isn't something that we've dreamed up or anything. This is what the so-called clean pollution power plant is. This is how they propose that it would look. Okay, we have 546 tons of pollution every year that's going to be polluted by this power plant. Okay, out of that is 1,852 metric tons of CO2. Okay, that's the equivalent of what 24,000 homes would produce in 1 year. So we'll go through the 546 tons, what they are. NOx, nitrous oxide, it's 115 tons. The effects, it's all respiratory. Everything that the nitrous oxide does, it increases the respiratory symptoms, and it bronchitis, emphysema, heart disease. The VOCs, okay, 40 tons per year. It affects your eyes, your nose, throat, gives you headaches, loss of coordination, nausea, damage to the liver, kidneys, central nervous system. All these, and you get an extra 40 tons a year that's produced by this power plant. Sulfur dioxide, 9 tons. Again, it's the respiratory diseases. Now, in LA County, the Antelope Valley ranks dead last as far as how healthy we are in our respiratory areas. Asthma, bronchitis, all those are leading causes of death in the Antelope Valley. This is just an aggravation to an already bad problem. Okay? So you can see it has respiratory effects and everything that we talked about. Carbon monoxide, 255 tons a year. Low concentration, it's fatigue, chest pains, headaches, dizziness, confusion. Mark has a lot of that. Nausea, flu-like symptoms. Oh. PM10. We have an extra 127 tons a year. What does it cause? Heart, lung problems. We already rank last in LA County. We also rank last in the state of California. Okay? Non-fatal heart attacks, asthma again, lung functions. It's all respiratory. The key indicators of health. AV ranked dead last among the regions in Los Angeles County. We already talked about that. In comparison, nationwide, AV ranked last behind all 50 states. We're taking a very bad problem that we have and adding to it. It's not good. 12.2% of all the children in the Antelope Valley have asthma. We have the highest mortality rate in LA County. This is the sister. This is what it will look like. So if you go back to that nice, clean power plant that they showed you, this is the sister that was built in Victorville. This is what you'll get on Avenue M and Sierra Highway. This comes from the EIR. This lists all the sensitive receptors for us. If you look at it, just for a point of reference, everyone should see the orange indicator there. That's where the power plant is supposed to be. Okay? It's basically on the corner of Sierra Highway and Avenue M. Okay? If you look at that, all those other dots that are around there, they've identified all those sensitive receptors. Those sensitive receptors, I think it's 78% are located in Lancaster. So what are those? It's the preschools. You can see all the preschools that there are. All the schools, Columbia Elementary, it goes through Sierra Elementary. The list is long. So Joshua Elementary, Lincoln Elementary, Desert Sands, the list goes on and on and on and on. We have all these sensitive receptors in the city of Lancaster. This is one of the reasons why we want to talk to the city of Palmdale. They refuse to talk to us. We want to talk about why the location. We can't get those answers. Okay? So you can see that. So if you look at it with all those sensitive receptors, 87% are located within the city of Lancaster. 13% are located in Palmdale. If you factor in the prevailing winds, I know it doesn't blow much here, but if you factor in the prevailing winds, we have 100% of that pollution that goes to Lancaster on the east side. The school children, okay? 6,468 of our kids will be affected. 94% will be affected. 6% in Palmdale. 380 kids. When you factor in the prevailing winds, all of it goes to Lancaster. So I ask you, when you put your trash out, where do you put it? You put it out the curb, it's on the side of your house, it's away from everything else. They've located this power plant on the front doorsteps of the city of Lancaster. That's why your city representatives are against this. The workplaces. You can see the difference. 66% are in Lancaster, 34% are in Palmdale. Factor in the prevailing winds, 100% Lancaster. Residential, 82% Lancaster, 18% Palmdale. Factor in the winds again, 100% Lancaster. Soccer fields, what it does. We have 25 tournaments a year. It brings into this economy $12 million. That's a local impact. Do you think these people are going to want to play soccer over all this pollution? The air quality is already a major concern. It's an impact of $12 million. Okay, this is the best we could come up with as far as what it means for the ERC transfer of credits. What it means basically is we're going to give another community millions of dollars so they can clean their air up, so we can make ours dirtier. Doesn't make much sense to me why we should do that. Okay, you can see we're going to give San Joaquin Valley or South Coast millions of dollars. I think it's up to $15 million. See where they've taken away their power plants, they've cleaned it up. That's what we're giving them that so we can put one in our backyard. Okay, this is the Yellow Valley, what we're talking about. Okay? This map is one of the most crucial things that we can see. If you look at it, look on the bottom left-hand corner. That's the ultimate destination for this power. That is Vincent Hill Station. At Vincent Hill Station, that is the ultimate goal where all this power is going to go. Now, if you watch what they've done, this is where the water goes. It comes from 30th Street East. It goes down Avenue P, goes through Lockheed, down Sierra Highway to Avenue M, over to the power plant. I believe it's 7.5 miles. Okay? It doesn't go towards their ultimate goal. It goes towards the city of Lancaster. The gas line. Well, that's the sanitary water district. It comes straight down. So that was a good move. Here's the gas line. The gas line goes through, and they move it from Avenue S down through the heart of their city, down Sierra Highway to the power plant. Again, it's heading north when their ultimate goal is south. Okay? We don't understand this, but here's the big one. Okay? There's the transmission lines. The transmission lines, you move, you go down Avenue M. Now, I'm waiting for the expertise to tell me why they head north to Avenue L. They go down our border and then down and around everyone else's border to their final goal. 36 miles of transmission lines. So we're not only talking pollution, we're talking visual pollution. 36 miles of high-tension lines. So when you see all this with the ultimate goal, why didn't they put it lower? Why didn't they put it lower in their area? They're telling everyone it's clean. Why didn't they lower it down? Those are some of the questions that we have. That's what it's going to look like. That's the transmission lines that you're going to have an extra 36 miles of transmission lines. And they're moving it off to our border on Avenue L so we can enjoy them. Now, here's the misinformation that was given. The Palmdale Power Plant will be owned and operated by the City of Palmdale. Okay? The reality is, it won't. It was sold for a for-profit group to Summit Power Group. The City of Palmdale has invested $35 million to this point. It's still bare dirt. $35 million, and they sold it for $28 million. They told that this venture will reduce all of our power. They told the entire Antelope Valley, we will reduce your electric bill. By building this power plant, your electric bills will be lower. The reality is, there's no legal mechanism in place at this time to do that. They can't do it. We've looked into it. They just cannot do it. Okay? They said the electric bills for Plant 42, the aerospace firms, will decrease. Mayor Paris, myself, the city manager, and Jason, we all went. We sat in the commander's office at Air Force Plant 42. We were on a conference call with Wright-Patterson. They said this will not happen. There's no legal mechanism in place for it to happen. Okay. City of Palmdale is telling everyone it's located in north central Palmdale. It's not. It's 60 feet from the Lancaster City border. 60 feet. That's a problem for us. Okay? The plant is clean. Okay? We showed you already. It will produce 546 tons of pollutant. It's huge. It will be the largest stationary polluter in the Antelope Valley that has ever been built here. This hybrid power plant will be the cleanest of its type in the world and will serve as a model. Okay? It's just 50 acres has been sold. Okay, so what they've sold the community is this. They've sold a community. We have 235 acres. It's going to be a hybrid solar power plant. Okay? When Summit bought it, they did away with all the other stuff. Okay? I think they did away with all their solar components. They do not have enough. It can no longer be called a hybrid power plant. This community has done enough to provide power to the grid. This will last forever here. Why are we doing it? Look at this. Is this what you want in your community? Is this what you want to be left with? Is this a legacy? And do you want us to fight it? That's your answer.
I take it we're against it. Jack Larkin.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jack Larkin. I'm the president of the Antelope Valley Football Club. I'm also the District 6 representative for Cal South. A lot has to do with the numbers that you just showed. Those tournaments and that $12 million you were talking about is me filling up these, Cal South filling up these hotels, these restaurants, and everything else. I go to bat every year for the Antelope Valley down in Fullerton with Cal South, trying to keep as much of that stuff here as I can. I don't see where I can do it with this. I really don't. This is a bad situation. I tell my club, I tell my coaches, I tell my managers and everybody, if we do things for the kids, we'll get to the right decision. I don't see where this will benefit any of these kids. That complex is full of kids night in and night out and every weekend. And strenuous. They're running strenuous drills and everything else. Your numbers were about homes and stuff like that and the air quality and everything else. Times that by 10 with these kids out here exercising and running and doing all this. I just don't see where this is a good thing for the city of Lancaster. I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike's. How do you pronounce that? Switch. Of course, that's what it says. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Mike Switch, and I'm the head soccer coach at Paraclete High School, the boys soccer coach. I've been in the soccer coaching community here in the Antelope Valley since the mid-1980s, prior to the opening of the complex. We've always dealt here, and I've also was born here in the valley, so I've also dealt with our air quality. Since we were able to go play at the complex, I started in AYSO. I've been in club. I've ref NCAA soccer, high school soccer, AYSO soccer, and there's one thing that I see prevalent at those fields, and that's the amount of small children that have been at that field for a couple decades now. And these children, they're very young children, and they're expected to do these drills that adults pretty much are doing. And it's very strenuous for them. The amount of asthma we see on our teams is incredible, just from the air quality alone. I personally, like I said, have asthma. When I get out there running with the kids and doing what I like to do over on that east side, we see the pollutants in the air. And it's been a talk that I've had with coaches up and down the coast and up and down California. I have a large network. They appreciate the fields for its venue, for its pristine condition, but it's always been an issue for the air quality. And I think Jack is correct in saying that it's going to be hard to fill those areas up with those teams as the air quality continues to decrease. But in closing, my biggest concern is the children. My high school soccer players, they are tasked to bring their inhalers with them because the sports just induces it, and especially when we're out there on those blustery days and 40-mile-an-hour winds and the dirt blowing around in the air. And I think it's a really bad decision, and anything that Lancaster can do to help thwart the placement, I would be for. I know the soccer community would be for. And thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Pisano. Hi, how are
I
you?
had to speak on this just now, even though I had some other stuff for later, but what I would like to talk about is this has been going on in this valley for a long time, not just now. There's been contaminants going on in this area for a long time. I've tried to come before you guys and speak on that issue before. We've had problems in our neighborhoods before, and it goes back even from when I was little. When I lived out here, we had problems then too with the water and the land being contaminated. I tried to reach the EPA about it, and everything was shut down on my computer, shut down for me to be able to say anything about that. And I think that all these little power things that are being put all over to clean up the area, there may be other things behind that as well, because these projects that they're doing with these power plants and the facilities that go along with these power plants aren't exactly good for us, for the kids, for the elderly, for anybody that's here in this valley. And I can maybe talk some more on this later, but there's a lot of problems with it, and a lot of money being put out for it, and a lot of people aren't being told about what's going on, which is another big problem.
Thank you. Okay.
No, I did move. I did your 2 appointments. So I did your 2 appointments. You need the any IVs. So you're right here. Okay.
Let's move to CA3, Council Agenda Item Number 3, which is Resolution 1349. I think what I want to do is just open it up to public comment. Everybody's been given a copy of it. And let's dive in, okay? We'll start with, I can't read that. Well, we go to
Marisol Sharek? Marisol? How do you say your last name, honey?
Chavez.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's a V. No, that's okay. Chavez. Hi, honey.
Hi, good evening. I want to say thank you to the City Council and the City Manager for giving us this opportunity. In regards with the immigration reform, I was born in Mexico City, and I came to the Antelope Valley at the age of 3. And I've been here for 20 years. It's been a huge impact not being able to work in the area where I wish to pursue a career in, not have that opportunity to go ahead and go to a 4-year university like everybody else. It's been a huge impact emotionally as well, because I had to work, or I have to work for my family financially. Instead of me focusing in my future, I have to look for them as well. So I just would like to ask for the city of Lancaster to go ahead and support us in this immigration reform. It's very important. There is a huge amount of immigrants in this community that need your support, and unite, because after all, we do live in the Antelope Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Xavier Flores.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
You know, Mr. Flores, I think I may have jumped the gun too quick. Why don't you give us a background of what the resolution is, and, I'll give you more time and spend some time on this, okay?
Thank you very much, sir. I am the president of the Antelope Valley League of United Latin American Citizens, and as such, I and several members approached you about a month ago and asked you to consider the passage of a resolution for humane immigration reform in the city of Lancaster. We brought for you a sample of a resolution that we wanted you to look at. And I'm not sure if you want me to go over the sample resolution, Mayor. Is that what you're asking me to do, or?
Well, I'm going to leave it up to you. I think everybody's gotten a copy of it, but you may want to go through the high points, of it and what you're asking us to do and why. Okay?
Well, we're as we all know, the country is looking at a passage of a immigration reform as we speak. There's been a lot of debate as to what best course to take. We've got our own opinions. We certainly have our own position on this issue. We went ahead and submitted to you a document that we thought would be palatable to this body, palatable to the residents of this community. So we're not being very, very radical in our requests. I think we're being reasonable. One of the main things that we're asking for is humane. Is for you to look at the immigrant as humanly as possible and take the politics out of it as much as possible as well. We know that the issue has been politicized tremendously. We took a look at just recently in trying to figure out what I was going to convey to you. I went ahead and took a look at what some of the religious groups are saying about this reform. We looked at the Catholic Church and the Council of Bishops. We looked at the evangelical organization nationally. We took a look at different denominations and found that most of them are in agreement. We even took a look at what the Chamber of Commerce, the United States Chamber of Commerce, is saying about this issue. And from different angles and different perspectives, everybody seems to agree that the immigration system is broken, number one, and does need reform. And it's allowing for a lot of crime to continue or to exist as it is in place today. We're here to ask you to take a position, essentially, in support of fixing that immigration system that exists today. But Councilman, if I may, or I'm sorry, Mayor, if I may, I wrote something. I was not prepared to answer the questions that you're asking me. I am sorry. I came here prepared to speak on...
I bushwhacked you. I'm sorry.
I came here to speak on something completely... Well, it's still the same issue, of course, but to put out a different point, really the individual who's going to speak to what it is why it is we're concerned and what it is we want from you, Cesar Magallon, actually. He was the person designated to answer the question that you asked. So I'd like for you to give him that opportunity, but if you allow me to open up with my comments, I'd very much appreciate it.
Okay, Caesar's next. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So as I was reflecting and looking to see what exactly I was going to say to you today, I realized that tomorrow we celebrate the 50th year anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, an event that placed a glowing light on the forgotten promises described in the Emancipation Proclamation exactly 100 years earlier. So it's befitting that I evoke the image and the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., who is recognized today as the most important speaker at that event. I evoke Martin Luther King for other reasons as well. The city of Lancaster does much to recognize the national and world leader, and rightly so, but I often wonder how much of that recognition is genuine and how much is fanfare. I believe we will find the answer to that question this very day. Today we're going to find out. As a result of the 50th anniversary, many programs are being broadcast about the march, about Martin Luther King, about Bobby Kennedy. In one such broadcast yesterday, Congressman John Lewis, who was a 23-year-old at the time that this event took place, stated that Martin Luther King needs to be recognized as a founder of new America. He needs to be recognized as a founder of new America. As I reflected on this statement and saw images of the MLK Memorial on the National Mall, next to statues of Lincoln and Jefferson, it came to me that Congressman Lewis was absolutely right. This humble man of African American descent and of meager beginnings is a great leader to our nation, as the Founding Fathers were, just as great. The Founding Fathers chartered our course from the time of independence to the present, and Martin Luther King chartered our course from now to the future. If we are wise and we pay heed, we will know which way to proceed as a nation. We need to pay heed to what he said. MLK chartered our course in brotherly love and stated in no uncertain terms that we must treat all people, regardless of race or creed, with dignity and respect. Indeed, the theme of human dignity was like a thread that ran through every one of his words and actions. Human dignity. I have in my possession a copy of the Western Union telegram Martin Luther King sent to Cesar Chavez. This transcript is dated September 22nd, 1966. At that time, Cesar Chavez was in the midst of a long fast. MLK stated in his memo the following: "As brothers in the fight of equality, or for equality, I extend the hand of fellowship and goodwill and wish continuing success to you and your members." He went on to state that the fight for equality must be fought in many fronts, in the urban slums, and the sweatshops of factories and fields. And most importantly, he stated, our separate struggles are really one: a struggle for freedom, for dignity, and for humanity. We come before you today to tell you that our struggle is the same struggle. This day here in this room, we fight for freedom, we fight for dignity, and we fight for humanity. Lastly, both Cesar Chavez and Martin Luther King were stoutly religious and Christian. One was a Baptist and the other a Catholic. They both adhered to the teachings of the Bible. I went to the internet and found 26 biblical verses about immigration. I say this because we've often said that we're a Christian community, and we tout that, we love that. They all admonish us to love him as yourself, meaning love the sojourner, love the immigrant as you love yourself. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. This is what the 26 verses, concisely put, all say. Unless you are indigenous, you and your forefathers came from someplace else. It is reasonable to assume that most people in comfortable surroundings would not have abandoned their comfort. It is therefore reasonable to believe that hard times drove you or your forefathers here. In this sense, we are all like the Jews in Egypt, each and every single one of us. Here is your chance to, and I quote, "Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy." End of quote. This is Proverbs 31, 8 and 9. And in doing so, give credence to the legacy of great men who came before you and who you and this country have found it fit to honor every year. Let it not be fanfare anymore. Let it be for real. Thank you.
Thank you. Caesar.
Hello, good afternoon, council members. First of all, thank you, Mayor Parris and council members for meeting with us. I think I could speak for all of the Antelope Valley Dream Team, of which I'm the president of, that we appreciated your time and your open-mindedness and the kindness you showed to us that day. Every year on my birthday, my grandfather makes a call he says the same exact thing every single time. He says, "Mijo, échale ganas a tus estudios," which means, son, work hard at your studies. And then almost immediately, my grandfather hands a phone to my grandmother or my aunt because he doesn't want me to hear him cry on the phone yet another year. My grandfather cries on the phone every single year because he has not seen me since I was shorter than this podium. He never saw me grow up. He has only heard it through the phone. There are lots of people who say that immigrants like myself who are undocumented came here and took the easy way, that we circumvented the right process because we could not figure it out. That is not true. I took my own process. I have lived in the Antelope Valley for 20 years. It is the only place besides the city that I was born in that I have ever lived in. I love this country. I consider myself a citizen already, and I am just waiting for my government to recognize me. But first, I need my city to recognize me. This resolution that we're here presenting today says three very simple things. One, that the federal government, who has claimed supremacy in matters of immigration, while offloading all the costs to cities, to hospitals, and to our families, that they must restore trust between the American people and the federal government, that they must restore the trust between immigrant communities and the federal government. And second, that they must give us a pathway to citizenship, because it is not fair that my mother, who spent all those years cleaning houses and putting food on our table, could not become a citizen for 20 years because there was no process for her. It is not fair that my friends and I who have lived here, who are fluent in English speakers, who are excellent students and hard workers, cannot work, cannot study, because we are lacking 9 digits and 1 card. The third point, and the most important point of the resolution, states something very important, that the federal government has torn families apart. 1.5 million people have been deported by the Obama administration. 500,000 of those have been parents of U.S. citizen children. That creates an immense and almost palpable sense of suffering in our community as immigrants and Latinos. This council's vote today is going to send a strong message to our congressmen that the time for immigration reform was yesterday, that it's going to happen not after the recess, but right now. We need them to meet with us, to give us a town forum, but above all, we need their votes. But for their vote, I strongly feel that first we need yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's the last time we clap, but we had to clap for that. Thank you. Miguel Coronado.
Hey, first of all, Mayor, let me just tell you, thank you for letting us borrow your house to have that wonderful party. We appreciate that. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, staff, residents, supporters, and opponents, I'm here today to witness the City of Lancaster approve a resolution and urge Congress to enact immigration reform. This is important because Latinos make up 38% of the residents in Lancaster. My name's Dr. Miguel Suarez Coronado, and I do not introduce myself as doctor to impress you, but to press upon you what an immigrant from Mexico or any citizen of the world can accomplish in the land of the free and the home of the brave. I was brought to the United States like Marisol when I was 3 years old. My mother, Rosa Coronado, brought me to this country to create an opportunity for myself. She never told me to strap 75 pounds of marijuana on my back and haul it across the desert. She encouraged me to go to school so I wouldn't have to work like a mule. Thanks to President Ronald Reagan, my mother was one of the 3 million undocumented immigrants who were granted legal status in 1982. In 2013, with immigration reform facing an uncertain fate in Congress, young people brought to the United States as children are pursuing to win citizenship to the country where they pledge allegiance to the flag. They are known as dreamers. Mr. Christ, you are correct. We can be far more effective, more efficient fighting crime and finding jobs for people. However, although raised in the United States, many of these young people, generally Mexican, cannot get a driver's license, open up a bank account, receive scholarship money, or work legally. The parents are worse off. They're getting deported. Deportation to the land of their parents would mean discovering an unknown country and culture, and even relearning a language in which some are no longer fluent. This is reminiscent of the 1930s when President Franklin Roosevelt deported 2 million Mexicans. There are numerous accounts of women crying in the streets due to the loss of their husbands, like today. Congressmen at the time were instrumental in supporting and writing many of these proposals, including the establishment of concentration camps for all aliens. President Obama, even though they say the numbers have been skewed, 1.4 million immigrants, many of those Mexican, have been deported. When it comes to deportation court hearings, it's not unusual for a toddler or a 6-year-old to appear in front of a judge without a lawyer. Americans interested in immigration debate should understand the extent to which the president and congressmen have plagiarized the past. For example, Republican Congressman from Iowa Steve King's assertion that for every undocumented immigrant who is a valedictorian, there's another 100 with the cats the size of a cantaloupe hauling marijuana across the desert. King took his most recent anti-immigrant comment about undocumented youth straight from an old xenophobic playbook of the 1930s. 83 years later, we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there is insufficient funds in the great vault of opportunity of this nation. 50 Augusts later, we still have a dream deeply rooted in the American dream, and we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you. These are my agents, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you again for letting us borrow your house, sir. We really appreciate it. It's huge, it's big, and you gotta have us back.
Not everybody needs to know that.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you, sir. Ms. Johnson, pleasure to see you. Captain, how are you, sir? See you next Saturday. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Marvin Sanchez.
Good evening. My name is Marvin Sanchez. I'm a senior at Sora High School, and I'm part of Agents of Change, a local organization. Both of my parents are immigrants. My mom immigrated from Mexico and my dad from Honduras, and I had always asked the question, well, what doesn't make them American? And growing up, I had seen a lot of dreamers, and I realized that they hold all the qualities and the principles of an American. The ability to dream and to envision something and have the courage and bravery to pursue it with all odds saying no is what makes someone an American. In my opinion, it's not that you were born in a country, but you have the drive, the motivation, and the hope that millions and millions of our ancestors have had in this country. I've always wanted to help them as much as I can because there is an increasing, they're begging at their knees to be given an education to destroy the cycle of poverty, of crime, of things of those natures. And it is really frustrating seeing that someone with so much ambition, with so much hope, with so much drive, that they're rejected because of a trivial matter. And I've met people, I have friends who are who are undocumented, and they are drenched in America. They are American citizens in my eyes, and they deserve an opportunity to have an education, to limit the gap of poverty and issues that we have in this world, and to really break the cycle that their ancestors have gone through. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Maria Contreras. Maria? Okay, why did Maria chicken out? Somebody has to go bring her in. We'll go on to, we already did Marvin, David Paul.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, good evening. Thank you for putting this on the agenda and bringing this up for discussion. You know, things are very complex and they don't always turn out the way we hope, but hope is what is important. I spoke at Palmdale, and all these young people, the dreamers, know how I feel about them. I feel that we should just give them immediate citizenship with no questions asked, but that's not the way things work, and I appreciate them in it for the long haul and being patient. I heard somebody say that people need to understand each other better, and this is a thing I do. When I go to Walmart or any of the other stores and I see a bunch of Spanish-speaking adults walking around and they have a little bitty baby with them, I know that baby was born in the Antelope Valley Hospital or in Palmdale. I know that baby is an American, and that brings me such great joy. Families run forever, And that can be the start of something that will be remembered. Today I was listening to this tape on the life of Harriet Tubman. It was just so compelling what she went through, what strong spirit she had. And it shocks me still to this day to realize that people used to think that it was okay to own another human being and sell off their children. So how do we change that? We just have to grow, we have to evolve, we have to stick together, work together. All the programs we do here to help people, this is what it's about. It's not going to really be the government that fixes it, it's going to be us that prods the government to do it. Now, I don't know if votes are there or circumstances are right, but if we believe it, if we know that these dreamers are Americans, if we know that these people that came here to provide a better life for their families are in the right, and we would have done the same thing, that's a start. And I want everybody to realize that. If your family didn't have the tools or means necessary to give them a better life, you would come here, I would do it. We have that plaque on the Statue of Liberty that welcomes people. We leave the back door open for them to come in and we exploit their labor. Let's give them a break. Let's love them as human beings and all find a way to live together. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Oh, David, I've been out of town. I know that I owe you a phone call, and when I get back to town, we'll get together. Okay, good.
I think she's ready to speak.
Are you ready now? Did you do? Okay, come on up.
Okay, sorry, I'm really shy.
Okay, take a deep breath. Okay.
Cute.
Let's start.
Good evening. My name is Maria Contreras. I want to welcome everyone here today present. Before I start, I want to let you guys know that I am a dreamer myself, and I know that everyone that has come here to speak tonight has been through many struggles, and I myself have. But I consider myself as part of each and one of us, because I have stood here before in this podium, and I have spoke before through the youth and government, and many of you I can recognize. I don't know if you recognize me. I hope you do, by the way. And I consider myself part of this community. Why? I have been here in this country for over 12 years, and I have been involved in my school, especially in the Antelope Valley Brigade, and we have actually played for the opening of this of the Lancaster Boulevard. So I just wanted to throw that out. But I stand here as a dreamer, and I am here to share the reasons of why we should pass, receive your vote or your help for the immigration reform. But before I mention the reasons why we should pass it or why we should receive your help, I would like to ask a question. Who here tonight present have children? Many of us, well, not myself, but many can relate to this situation. Wouldn't you do anything that is in your hands to give them the best future you could? If I was a parent, I would definitely say yes. And this is what motivated my mother to bring me, to bring my brother and I to this country, so we can have a better future, the future that she was not able to realize due to her low income and her low income. And because of this, because of her situation, she brought us to this country so we can have a better future. So I was brought to this country at the age of 7, and at that time I did not have the knowledge I was breaking the law. But all I cared for that at that moment was to be back with my mother once again. Being a foreigner in the United States was hard because I did not know how to speak English at that time. But that did not stop me from succeeding back then, and I will not let my social status stop me from succeeding now and accomplishing my goal of receiving my career in international management. I know I am not a citizen of this country, but that doesn't mean I have not worked as hard or even more than a citizen would have to be where I now am. I have graduated from high school with a 4.2 GPA, ranking number 8 from my senior class, and I even got accepted to the few colleges I was able to apply due to my low income. But it was very detrimental for me to deny those schools because I was unable to receive financial aid at that time. This was the reason that stopped me from going to UC Merced, UC Santa Cruz, and even Cal State Northridge. Going back to the reasons, many families are being separated due to the fact that parents are either being deported or they have family emergencies, causing them to leave the country and not being able to come back. As a matter of fact, this issue affected my family directly because my mother had to depart from this country because my older sister who lived in Mexico was going to have a critical surgery. Therefore, my mother felt the need to leave to be with her in case she was afraid that was going to be the last time she was going to see her after not being able to see her for a decade. And furthermore, I was directly affected by this because my mother, who is my role model to this day, was not able to be with me the day of my graduation due to our legal status, which is very detrimental for me because it was one of the most important events of my life, which I have yearned for several years. Moreover, my little brother, who is in Mexico with my mother, is missing out the opportunity to get a better education, better opportunities, and overall a better life quality. Since he is not independent, yet he needs someone to take care of him, and unfortunately my brother and I can't do that because we're both working and I am currently going to college. Although he is an American citizen, he cannot fully enjoy the benefits of it. I know that I am not the only one who has or will face the situation if we don't push for a change to happen in this country. Along with these reasons, students are being deprived from the opportunity to further their education and reach their goals and dreams because of their legal status in this country. Take, for example, how hard it is for an American citizen to get a higher education without being in debt after graduating. If it is hard for them, you can only imagine the struggles that we as immigrants go through, since we don't usually receive government to help alleviate the cost. A great example is Marisol Chavez, who spoke earlier. And also, in order to further my education as of today, I am attending school and working part-time to help pay for school supplies and books that aren't relatively cheap, and also to help around in the house. However, it is not easy, but it's not impossible. I know that one day all the sacrifices I have made are going to pay off, and I will see my American dream not only as a dream, but as a tangible reality. And that's why I'm here tonight and speaking so we can receive your help. And I want to thank you, each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a lot of cards. 30 seconds adds up to a half hour before we're done. Okay? Michael Rivas.
Mayor Paris, staff, ladies and gentlemen, friends. Today we're considering a resolution to support reform of immigration. Currently, the number one plan is the Obama plan, and it says secure the borders, crack down on companies that hire illegals, hold illegals to pay back taxes, encourage them to apply for citizenship and go to the back of the line, and streamline the immigration system. That's the Obama plan. That's the reform plan. We have the Republican plan, which is a concern of people who are overstaying their visas. They want to increase border security, and they want to streamline the system. Both of these plans are wrong. This council, your resolution is wrong. And I will say it to people. What you asking is wrong. We need to make...
Mr. Reeves, Mr. Rivas, you will address the council.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We need to have the president, either by executive order or the Congress, pass legislation asking the people who are illegal, undocumented, whatever you want to call them in this country, to come out of the shadows, register without penalty, without recrimination. Come out of the shadows and register. Your government will accept you. At that time, you will be given resident status. And then you will be given a chance to apply for citizenship, understanding that if you don't apply for citizenship and you want to stay in the United States as a permanent resident, you may not be eligible for benefits. We need to take these steps now because our country is in danger from terrorists. This is not only for the rights of these people, this is to protect our country. We can't have open borders. We can't have 30,000 people in New York City of Irish descent who are undocumented. We can't have people walking across the border in Canada. We need to secure our borders. We need to secure the rights of these people. It's partly our fault. As lawyers, you know about contributory negligence. The United States of America is contributory negligent. We encourage these people to come over and work for dirt wages, and now when things are bad, we want to kick them out.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Roxy Patterson.
Greetings, everybody.
How are you?
I'm just peachy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
My slant on this is, once upon a time, many years ago, my family came over from Europe, and they were called immigrants. People today have come from other countries, and they're called immigrants. And these people are hardworking. These people are dreaming the dream that we once had in our early history of the United States of America. I just love to hear all the emotion and all the facts that they've offered towards you today. But I want to put one more slant on it, and I'll try to make it quick. I've lived in Lancaster for about 52 years total. When I went to high school, we had conflicts with Palmdale, the high school there, and some of you went to Palmdale High School. Don't be afraid, confess.
Things changed.
We had conflict. And today I just saw this wonderful PowerPoint slide about something else we have conflict with. But I would beseech you to look at something that we can agree on Palmdale with. We can support this resolution on immigration and come together as a community to dig deep and look at our humanity. We all came from somewhere. To look deep and see all these people that are trying to get educated and that are hard workers and are buying things in our community, and they just want to be people. They want to be residents. They want to join us in being happy that we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I request that you vote for this resolution in favor of it.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson. I want to make something clear. Excuse me. I want to make something clear. I'm not asking this council to do what Palmdale did. I'm asking this council to demonstrate a lot more courage, to stand up to a lot of people that are going to be really angry over this. I'm not asking this council to say we support comprehensive immigration reform without any clue as to what that means and without any clear, definitive effort we want to be made on very specific items. What I am asking this council to do is much more than that, much more difficult. It is not some face-saving device that is meaningless. And understand who this council is. These are essentially, for the most part, the Republican leadership of Lancaster. We are not engulfed with a lot of support for this from a political point of view. There will be consequences for this council if they vote for it. Understand what I'm asking them to do, and please don't paint it with the same brush that the city to the south did. This is much more specific, much more goal-oriented, and we're making a stand, those of us who vote for it, that, you think they pillory me on the internet now. Wait till the other side starts doing it. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So just let's not confuse the issue, okay? Thank you. Aldo Hermano?
Hello to everybody here today. I was born in Mexico City, March 15th, 1988. I came to this country when I was a year and 8 months. I was raised in Burbank, California. I did move around a lot. I moved to Illinois, back to California, and here in the Antelope Valley. As a young child, I never understood what immigrant or citizen or resident was. I was young. As I grew older, of course, you learn these things. I also grew to know segregation, isolation, depression, and loneliness. When you're labeled as something that you know you're not, a criminal, a loser, or an outsider, you can realize what effect this can do on a lot of people. In school, I learned there are borders. Even in schools, there are borders. There's borders between you can't come over here because this is our group. You stay over here. I never understood why. Coming out of high school, there's even bigger borders. In the adult world, as it is immigration, there's borders. There's borders everywhere. Honestly, in my opinion, I wish there wasn't any borders, because that keeps us from being like brother and sister. My mom always taught me that always help people, no matter who they are, what wrong they've done. Always understand them and always help them. That's what I believe. I wish that one day we could stop classifying each other and separating each other and look at each other and call each other brother and sister. Go to each other's house and have a bite to eat. Not look at one another and see you for who you are because of, you work here or I work there. I really hope that does happen one day. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric, Brody?
Godoy.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Again, my name is Eric Godoy. I was born in Guatemala about 24 years ago. I came to the U.S. when I was 3.5 years old. I lived in the valley, San Fernando Valley, all over the valley for about 10 years, and I came up here. I've been living here, came to school here. I went to Pete Knight High School. I'm an original Pete Knightian, is what we call ourselves. And our coaches called us, which was a student athlete. We would call ourselves athletic students, but our coaches said no, because before you're ever in any sport, you are a student. So throughout my high school career, I was in wrestling. It was my fascination. It was my life. On season or off season, I was wrestling any way I could. My senior year, I had the opportunity to take a championship. I was second in place. I was excited, and what got me even more excited was when Fresno State University considered me for a full scholarship to go. And I don't know if many of you guys know, but Fresno is has one of the greatest wrestling programs there here in California. So I was excited. I was ready. I was pumped. I was everything. It was an athlete's dream to be considered. Unfortunately, when he came and when I was interviewed, I was asked, all right, we're going to need your social, we're going to need your residence, we're going to need all that. And I told him, sorry, I don't have one. But I know there was a law that passed that said I can go to college. He's like, yeah, there was, but we can't give you a scholarship, though. and I saw the regret in his eyes, but I remember the disappointment that I had in my eyes. The disappointment I felt. I had no motivation to go to college, to finish high school even. Thank God I had family and friends who did push me. I graduated 2011 from Antelope Valley College with 3 associates in graphic design, photographic imaging, and digital printing. I am continuing college to finish off to be certified interpreter in American Sign Language. But even then, I still see a 4-year college out of my reach because of my family's economical status. My parents are immigrants, and so is one of my brothers. And it sucks to see my younger brother have to struggle as much as I did. I'm glad that the deferred action has passed and is helping him, but I know many other students didn't get that opportunity because they didn't qualify. And I just asked the council today to just consider all those students who are just trying to better themselves in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica Hall.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members.
Good evening.
My name is Monica Gutierrez Hall. I'm a resident of Lancaster and have been a resident on and off for almost 30 years. My 2 children were born in Lancaster, and I met my husband here in Lancaster as well. I'm also the daughter of Mexican immigrants who came to the U.S. to live their American dream. My parents moved to Lancaster in 1974 and remained in the Antelope Valley as owners of a local Mexican restaurant, Nico's, and it has been here since '74. I was here at the previous City Council meeting on August 13th and found out that the possible adoption of a resolution in favor of immigration reform shall occur at today's meeting instead. I hope that the City Council votes in favor of immigration reform, also known as common sense immigration reform, which has been advertised to be humane, just, and comprehensive. According to the Congressional Budget Office, fixing our current broken immigration system through the newly proposed immigration reform shall reduce the federal deficit by about $200 billion over the next 10 years, and about $700 billion in the next decade. This would translate to a better economy with more taxes and more funding for federal, state, county, and city offices like Lancaster, thus providing stability to our work and the services we provide. Now that the U.S. Senate is in agreement with the advantages of immigration reform, it is now up to the House of Congress to pass the immigration reform law. I shall inform Congressman McKeon of these facts as well. And it is up to you to make a decision on the adoption of a resolution in favor of immigration reform. I'm a public servant here in the Antelope Valley as an adoption social worker for a government agency that I have been with for over 16 years. I mostly serve a population of Spanish-speaking clients and children, adults and children, many who are undocumented themselves and feel that the road to citizenship is overwhelming, impossible, and too expensive. Here in California, there are approximately 2.5 million aspiring citizens who would be able to help increase our tax revenue and help multiply and create jobs because of their contribution to the state economy. So I respectfully hope, with excitement, that the adoption of a resolution in support of immigration reform occurs today and makes history for the state of California and for the city of Lancaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Stern.
I think I might need some help with...
Yeah, they're going to come help you now. Okay. I wasn't going to leave you down there.
If you want to go to the side, I can move this to the side if you'd like.
Yeah, let me do that.
Okay.
This is Eric. This is Eric.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all the people here. I used to be an undocumented alien. Okay. I was born in Mexico City, and I came up here with my parents who were American citizens, but due to a problem, they had failed to notify the American consulate that I was born. And so they never knew, and I never knew, that I wasn't an American citizen. Until one day I went to register for the draft. And they said, "You can't register for the draft, you're not a citizen." I said, "What?" And I'm sure that a lot of the people that are here have kind of the same opinion. They really need to go in and be of service to the country, but they can't because they're not documented. They can't get a job, and because they can't get a job, they can't pay taxes. And what do you think makes our government run? Hey, it's simple as 1, 2, 3. Pass the resolution, you get more money. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that ought to appeal to our Republican hearts. Eric Goody? Good. You already got you. Okay, good. David Cuesta? I know I'm butchering these names. I'm really sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and public in general. My name is David Cuestas. I'm a vice president for the Palmdale Elementary Teacher Association. I'm also a California Teacher Association state rep council. And I have been teaching in the high desert for 20 years. For those years, I and countless educators have received students in our classrooms that were brought into this country by their parents when very young and were seldom told that they were here, were never told they were here undocumented. Some of them right here behind me with me today. The job of a teacher, though, is not to find out who should or should not be in this country. Our job is to educate all those who show up, because that is what this great country has decided we must do, and rightly so, I may add. So presently, we have millions of undocumented young people who have gone through the school system, have learned the Pledge of Allegiance, have embraced baseball, enjoy hot dogs and apple pie, just as most U.S. citizens do. They even speak better English than I do. We see their enthusiasm and yearning to get ahead and go to college, get a job, or start their own business, even when they're in high school. So ingrained is our system in them. But we in school asked them, we told them what they must do to get ahead and succeed and be productive in our society. Seems to be a lie, an outright lie, once they graduate from high school. Because it's then when all opportunities begin to be negated to them because they're undocumented, because they don't have the 9 numbers or whatever other paper the university needs from them. Some give up, while many others, like people behind me, find a way to hope. But that is it, to hope. Yet, even though with hope, they live in the fear of being taken away from their place, from the place they call home, Lancaster, Palmdale, or any other place in the United States, and the place where they have planned to carry out their American dream, just like you and I and everybody else maybe in this room have. So tonight, the city of Lancaster, through you, is presented with this great opportunity to give these young dreamers and their families a reason to keep on hoping, to embrace this city more than what they already have, because they love this place. A reason to keep dreaming, to keep the dream alive, and most important, a reason to take fear away from everyday life, because that's the thing that preoccupies them most, the fear that they might be taken away or their families. By passing this resolution today, you will be asking our leaders in Washington, D.C. for a humane, comprehensive, and expedient immigration reform. So I urge you to do this, to put a little bit grain of salt or sand in this building. We may wear the Mexican national team shirt at a soccer match. We may eat pupusas for dinner. We may even worship Allah, but we're not less American than the immigrants that started this great country. British, German, Irish, Scottish, you name it. Other nationalities went through the same situation. But at the end, diversity created this great nation. The United States is diversity. And these people behind me, they're the future, economically, culturally, of the United States of America. So I urge you, please, pass the resolution. And yes, God help you because I understand what you're being faced with, but I also understand that you are willing to help, and therefore you're having us here today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris Galliano? Galliano. Okay, thank you.
It's fine, I'm used to it. Been happening since I started elementary school. So, my name is Christopher Galliano. I've been living in the Antelope Valley for about 12 years or so. I went to elementary, middle school, high school here with my friends back there, the Antelope Valley Dream Team, who I'm currently involved with. I go to the University of California, Irvine, currently studying international studies and political science. So, with that being said, Planning Director Ludic, Public Works Director Neil, Senior Operations Manager Rosa, Councilmember Mann, Vice Mayor Christ, Mayor Paris, Councilmember Johnson, City Clerk Bryan, Assistant to the City Manager, sorry if I mess up your name, Tongo, Deputy City Manager Codley, City Manager Bozigian, sorry if I slaughtered it as well. I know what it feels like. City Attorney Burns. I have officially acknowledged all of your guys' existence, the fact that you guys make up the council, the city council. I ask that you do the same for my Antelope Valley Dream Team, that you acknowledge that they exist, that our community exists. And in being able to do that, I ask that you support the immigration resolution that's currently on your piece of paper. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Joseph Lagunas?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, there we go. Hi. My name is Joseph Christian Labugnagunas. I said Joseph, and it was crazy.
You want to start his time over, please? Go ahead, you can continue.
Okay, my name is Joseph Christian Labugnagunas. I was born in Quezon City, Philippines, and I moved here when I was 15 years old with my family. We're all undocumented, me, my dad, my mom, and my sister. Despite our status, my parents work hard, even without papers, just to provide for their family. My mom actually wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night. And she works at a home care facility. And that is a physically taxing job. And when she comes home, sometimes she's so tired that she can't even walk upstairs. Sometimes she's so tired that she doesn't even want to eat. She just wants to go sleep. I have to tell her, I have to force her to go eat before she goes to sleep. She does this because there are bills to pay. My sister just went to college, and she works hard in order to pay for my sister's college expenses. She works hard because she needs to pay for her own diabetic medication. I don't think it's right. It's not right that my mom has to work so hard and earn so little, where she has to pick between paying the bills and paying for her own diabetic medication. I worry about her, but she's 50 years old. My mom always tells me, life starts at 50. You know, she has dreams too. You know, she wants to own a house. She wants to live comfortably. She actually tells me that she wants to go back to school to become a registered nurse. But she can't do that because she can't benefit from AB 540, can't benefit from California Dream Act, she can't benefit from deferred action. Because we have a broken immigration system, she's kept from her dreams. And it makes me sad that she has to sacrifice her dreams in order for me and my sister to attain ours. Your vote on this resolution to support immigration reform will tell people like my mom that their hard work will pay off, that their hard work is going to have them achieve their dream. Think about the parents of immigrants who work so hard for their families. Think about immigrants who has to endure unfairness and abuses because of a broken immigration system. Think about my mom and her dreams. And this vote can help her get closer to achieve her dreams. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'm sorry about that. When I turned 60, all of my valves quit working. I haven't quite figured it out. Christian Morales?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Staff, Mayor, thanks for the time. Thanks for the open mind. First of all, tonight, I might be here by myself. That's my family members. My dad is at work. My mom is currently at church right after trying to go get her GED. My brother is at school as well. So I'm here representing my family and my team members from the AV Dream Team, which we're fighting for this. Every day I wake up with hope and dreams, just like everybody. I wake up to have a smile on my face. I see myself just like every other person. I see everybody just similar to me. I respect everybody. I treat everybody just like how I want to be treated. Tonight, we might not have numbers, but we have hearts, we have minds, we have hopes, we have dreams. And basically, I encourage you, I ask you to help us tonight for our cause. Little bit of my background is I'm 25 years old. I came here to this country when I was 15. All my family members are undocumented as I am. Just last year, my benefit was a deferred action thanks to President Obama. And that made some of my dreams possible. Continue my education, search for a job to become a better person myself. And at times I look back and I see my parents, and just like how he said, my parents have dreams too. My parents have hopes, and I just don't want to see them left behind, and I want to have them walk besides me. So today, I want you to just not open your heart, open your mind, trust in God, just like it says up there, and just help us out. Be human just like everybody else, and thank you for your time. And it's not just me. There's many of us, and there's many dreams, many hopes, and I treat everybody the same, just like my teammate said. You know, we're all brothers and sisters, and hopefully one day we'll all look at each other and, you know, smile, like I hope every day. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the cards. Normally, I let you guys speak first, and I come in later. Not always, but normally. I need 3 votes. That's the long and the short of it. I can't do this without 3 votes. You cannot pass this resolution without 3 votes. I know how hard you guys work for this city. I know how much you love this city. I know, I mean, I don't think anyone else knows just the sacrifice that comes with this. Nobody works harder in this city than Marvin Christ. Nobody. He wakes up in the morning wondering how to do it better. He goes to sleep at night wondering how to make this city better. And all of us did not start out with silver spoons. You know, all 4 of us. But I wonder where we would have gotten, whatever, I should have finished high school, if we had this obstacle. I don't think I would be a lawyer, and I don't think I would have a big house to invite these kids to come enjoy. And by the way, that was the best party I've had in 2 or 3 years. I loved it.
Did you have a mariachi band?
No, we didn't have a mariachi band. We had Miguel. You know, when we took these chairs, this was a very different city. And we all remember that, don't we? what a different city it was. And it took less courage to stand up to the Mongols and the Bloods and the Crips and they were all there. Remember? We were inundated with them. And we approached it with an iron fist. For one reason, it was our children that were being affected. It was our children who were being afraid to walk our streets. I don't see a lot of difference with this. These are our children. They're our city's children. And yes, it's a federal issue, and yes, I wish the federal government would get off their butt and do their jobs, but I don't have much hope. But I think in our city, we recognize we're realists. We recognize that we can't be do-gooders and fight off the gangs. We can't be, we just deal with problems. And we deal with them as most effectively as we can. And right now we have a problem. Almost half of our city is affected by it. And I think this half of the city has to know that, yes, we do love them. That when we said we're growing a Christian community, we meant it. And I rarely agree with Mr. Flores on anything. And he knows that. But I do agree that the Bible I read is the same one you read. And there is nothing left to argument. Our obligation is clearly set out. And unfortunately, we will have to stand against a portion of those who put us in these chairs in the first place. I need 3 votes. I just need you to trust me on it. We need to do this. This city needs to know that it is not a divided city between Republicans and Democrats and between the rich and the affluent and the poor, or however you want to divide it. It is not. It is Lancaster Boulevard when we're celebrating Christmas. And there's 40,000 of us there. And there's not one incident at all because we have become a community. And I see this community growing more and more because of what's happening here. And when we came into this office, there was a clear divide between the Hispanic community and everyone else. And I see it coming together now. I see participation. And what does the resolution ask for? It says the first thing we do is we seal that border. Because everyone here recognizes that Ronald Reagan did do this 20 years ago. Why wasn't it fixed then? It wasn't fixed because they didn't seal the border. We have to seal the border. Caesar agrees with me. No problem with that, right? We cannot deport parents of American children and not recognize that we are doing the foulest thing possible to them. Children need parents. These are American citizens, and I don't care how those parents got here. I don't care what the circumstances. Once those children were born and were American citizens, we do not deport their parents. And how do we say these kids are not as eligible for college as we were? I mean, there isn't any difference between them and us at their age, except they have further, higher obstacles. I want to tear down that obstacle. And I know that us doing this may not mean much in Washington, but it will certainly mean something to the people who live in this city. We cannot ignore them. Even if it's a meaningless act as to what happens in Washington, it says something that this city recognizes that these kids are part of us. need 3 votes. Anyone else?
I'll go. I'm going to be all over the place. First of all, I agree with the mayor. Very, very proud of the Hispanic community and what they've accomplished. But immigration is bigger than just the Hispanic community. I did meet with the Dream Team. I did meet with, and Caesar, you're just great in my book. You just, you speak well. I had to go home and look up several words that he said that, it was, this young man is just fabulous. We did talk about process. We talked about, my mom came here from England. She came through and she did the process and followed the law and did everything, and it was about process. And to me, it's all about process and what we should do and how we should do it. If I sit here and tell you that I have any control of your life as far as immigration, I would be lying to you. I don't. I do not have any control of that. What I did promise Caesar, Mr. Flores, is that I would speak with the congressman, I would talk with them, and the message that I conveyed to them was our immigration system is broke, and we need to fix it. And that was the message that I conveyed with him. I did promise you I would do that. I did say that to him. And someone spoke earlier about putting the salt in the wound. It was not a pleasant meeting for either one of us because we did have words in regards to it. And it was basically, let's just go our separate ways. So we did have words in regards to it. But the bottom line is, I believe in the rule of law. I believe that you should go through a process. This resolution, in some ways, doesn't go far enough for me. In some ways, it goes too far. I think that a lot of the meanings that we look at, the cost of education, we're not denying education. We're denying that the system is paying for it at this time. It's not denying the education, in my view. So again, I'm trying to read from my notes of everything, but you're asking for my help or my vote. I promised I'd help. I did. I spoke with them. But I am a person of process, so that's the way that I'm going to lean.
I don't know if we're going by age or seniority or, I want to let
Beauty.
Beauty? Okay. I guess I better go last. And we should have let Sandra go first. I know when you look up here, you may not see diversity because we have a young Hispanic woman. And I say young.
I heard that.
And then when you look to the left of her, you see, I'm going to say 3 older white guys.
I think it's to the right of her.
Oh, okay. But I want to share with you some of my background because sometimes I don't think you see the diversity that often at times sits up here in the background. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit because I could probably sit here for hours. So first of all, I want to let you know that I met my wife, which is Hispanic. Her mother is a first-generation El Salvadorian, and her father is Mexican. And how I met her was on a medical mission in the state of Sinaloa in Mexico, in a little small town of Choy. And for close to 7 years, I traveled there about 7 months out of the year and used my own personal resources with a group of doctors. And although I don't have any medical background, helped a lot of people in Mexico. And why I did that was because I felt compassionate about the people to the south. And as we go through life, we get different experiences. I ended that journey thought I was done with that. I don't think it's a very safe place to go there today. I might question things because when I was down there in the 90s, it was already starting to, if you're familiar with Sinaloa, it's one of the, it has very high drug trafficking. Somebody picked up my name and said, Ken's got a lot of experience down in Mexico doing medical missions. So the next thing I do is I get a phone call from First Assembly of God, and they said, Ken, we sponsor a orphanage just south of Ducati. Would you be willing to come down and give your time and effort down there, because we know how compassionate you are? So I turn my attention there, and I do about 4 years with that, although I'm not a member of the church there, and spent a lot of time down there, again, assisting medical missions, expanding on the orphanage, building schools. I want to tell you, my mother-in-law came here, obviously as an immigrant, and went through the process of becoming a naturalized citizen, as did my father-in-law. I have a strong opinion about how we get from point A to point B. I share my story with you because I don't want you to get the wrong impression that I'm not compassionate, because that's not the case. And I would probably be very, very, very disappointed if somebody would come to some other conclusion. I, too, have shared with Cesar, and I see a lot of bright people out here. I hear stories. I have different opinions. I have a brother-in-law that had no support, that put himself through Northridge, double majored. He didn't have any assistance. He worked hard. I worked along with him, giving him encouragement. So I have difference of opinions. That's the brilliance of America, the diversity that we have. Unfortunately, I shared with Cesar that I would be more than happy to go to the senators and the legislatures that can help vote and make decisions. Could I vote against this? No, I couldn't vote against it. But I do want to tell you that my position is to abstain. I will continue to do what I think is right for the Hispanic community. I have a passion for that. And I thank God for letting me go to Mexico and meet my wife. So I really do appreciate that. And I wish she could be here tonight, because I'd tell her to tell everybody in Spanish so that everybody could understand, like I've done historically in the past. I'm a little lazy, my apologies. I've been told, Mamita, she gets really mad at me because she says I need to learn the language. And, I'm ashamed of that I haven't taken the time to do that. But anyway, that's my position. I know that it didn't necessarily make everybody happy, but I will do my part to reach out. Buck and I are on speaking terms, so I will make that honest effort to convey my message to him, and then he's going to do whatever he's going to do. Kevin McCarthy, I don't know him on a personal level. We've talked a couple of times. I'll make the time and the effort to make sure I convey my message to him about the importance. Rex asked me, and I say the system is broken, and my biggest word, it's a mess. It really is. It's a mess.
I guess it's my turn. Before I speak, I'd like to ask if we could take a break. That's okay? Thank you.
Sorry about the break. It's those valves thing again. They just... I think it was Sandra.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. Excuse me for taking a little bit of a break. I needed to get myself together, too, before I was able to speak clearly and honestly to everyone. Before I start, I'd like to ask my father, who's here, and wanted to make sure he was here because this was an important day for him. I'd like to have him stand up so everybody can see who my daddy is. You know, as I had the opportunity and the blessing to listen to all these personal stories, and I applaud all of you for sharing your personal stories with us. Many of them touched me personally. My mother was a very strong woman who believed in being an example to everyone. She knew that the United States of America was the best country in the world to be in for her daughter to have the best opportunities available, as some of you have shared about your parents. My mother fought and fought with a fourth grade level education and did the studying that she needed to do and worked to save money and to fill out the documents to arrive to this country with me legally. However, she had to leave 2 of her sons there. It took her 10 years to be able for one of her children to come here legally. My mother's no longer with us. And her son, who arrived legally 10 years after, has yet to forgive her. Her other son never made it. He made his family there in Chile. When my mom passed, she asked her son for forgiveness for choosing to do it the right way. The reason I'm sharing this story with you is because there are those that have been fighting to be an American, whether we're legally or illegally here. But we all want the same thing. That's to live the American dream. My mother, who chose to do it legally, we still suffered. I was a permanent resident in high school. Somebody sharing a story about wrestling. I had the opportunity to get a dance scholarship to go to college, which is a dream come true, especially when financially we couldn't afford it. I was so excited that that would even be offered to me. I'm sharing the story with a teacher and told her, who would have thought, me from Chile, having my permanent residence, I would be able to have the opportunity to have a dance scholarship. This teacher went and told them that I was illegally here. And they took away my scholarship. So I know what it means to be labeled, as you're saying, of things that we know we are not. Criminals, and the other things that you labeled. I know what it is going to school when I first got here and not knowing how to speak English, and people making fun, and people stereotyping me, and me having low self-esteem because of it. However, my mother, the strong woman that she was, always told me to be proud of where you came from, who you are, and where you will be going. Because the sacrifices that our parents made for us wasn't meant for anything but for us to succeed. I feel everyone's pain here because I've gone through it. To me, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter what country you come from, what your race is, what your religion is. If you are a productive citizen and you are paying taxes in our community, why would we not want you here? I am proud not just to be born in Chile, and not just that my parents raised me in a Hispanic culture, but I am more proud to be a citizen of the United States of America. And I believe that we should all have that opportunity as we continue to be productive citizens in our community. So I thank you for allowing me to share that with you. But please understand, whether you do it legally or illegally, we've all suffered. Thank you.
Anyone else?
You know, Rex, I've made this will probably be the second time I made my mother-in-law mad at me. Because we've talked about this. I'm ready to vote.
Let's vote.
Yes!
Hey, thanks. Well, I guess we have to have another party at the house, don't we, guys?
No one told me this was going to be emotional being a city councilwoman.
You know, I have a job to pay for that house. I have a plane waiting for me. I came in just to do this. I gotta go. Marvin will finish the rest of the meeting. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to take a 2-minute break, so if you need to do anything, you can. And thank you again. Go ahead and get started again. City Manager, any items to be removed?
No, sir.
Okay, let's do the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the August 13th regular meeting.
I second.
We have a motion second. Let's vote. Motion passes 3-0. Consent calendar, we're going to pull CC 9.
I motion that we approve the consent calendar as comprised with the removal of CC 9.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Motion passes 3-0. Mr. Reeves, CC 9.
Vice Mayor Chris, council staff, ladies and gentlemen. I want to commend the city manager's office and city government for their ability to get grants for the city that help us provide services that otherwise we can't. And I was in Palmdale the other night at their gathering on the square, and I had an occasion to speak with some of the people running for office in Palmdale. And one gentleman was a grant specialist. He's running for the school board over there. And I told him about the great job that Lancaster does in securing grants for the city. However, on this grant, I know it's already allocated according to different areas, but I understand that we are down on our code enforcement officers, and rather than use it for all these things, I would prefer that this money be used for a code enforcement officer for the city. That's my only comment.
Thank you, Michael. I need a motion and a second for CC 9.
I motion that we approve CC 9.
I will second that.
We have a motion second. Let's vote. Motion passes 3-0. New business. NB1.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and City Council. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give an update on some pretty significant work that's happening in terms of water. Representatives are here from AVEC and Los Angeles County Waterworks, and they will give a few brief remarks too. The takeaway from my presentation is the pathway forward for securing additional water supplies for future for our community growth has been put into place. So I'm going to just kind of move really quickly. There's been a tremendous amount of work in the area of development of infrastructure in our community. AVEC has made some major investments into water banking. I expect at the end of this year there will be 10 different new wells and backbone infrastructure that makes that water bank operable. That provides a lot of reliability for our citizens with regards to water. In addition, I think one really significant event that's happened is that AVEC has executed an MOU with Waterworks that sets a template, a template that will allow our future, our building industry to move forward and create jobs and stuff. And that's what I really wanted to make you aware of. It's a process that has been set forward. We expect the Board of Supervisors to approve the MOU on September 3rd. The gist of it is AVEC will acquire water supplies for water retailers that will allow people who want to bring their businesses into our community to have water supply. The cost of water is estimated about $10,000 per acre foot for reliable acre foot. There's a deposit required. There's a lot more to this, but it is a significant thing so that developers, people who want to invest our community aren't told that there isn't water and they can't do it, because now they can. And what I'd like to do is introduce Dwayne Chisholm, who's the Deputy General Manager for AVEC, and Dan Lafferty, who's I believe the Deputy General Manager for Los Angeles County Waterworks. They'll have a few remarks, and after which I think we'll all be available for questions. So I'll end it right there.
Thank you, Robert.
You want to come up, Dwayne?
You want to bring all three of them up?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chris and the members of the City Council. My name is Dwayne Chisholm. I'm the Assistant General Manager for the Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency. We're the wholesale water agency that provides approximately 50 to 60,000 acre feet a year of imported water to the Antelope Valley. One of the significant things that the Public Works Director mentioned was the fact that both AVEC and Waterworks 40 have entered into this memorandum of understanding on how we are going to be able to work together to import additional water supplies in order to meet the growth demands that new development will have. That's a fairly significant milestone in our relationship. And I think it'll pave the way for future relationships with other customers of the AVEC service area. In addition, they spoke a little bit about our water bank a few years ago. AVEC decided to move forward with providing a groundwater bank that would bank water during the periods when it is very wet and then use that water when the periods when it's very dry. A few years ago, when we had a wet year, we were able to put close to 35,000 acre-feet of water into that groundwater bank. As we have a very dry year this last year, the prospects, the reservoir levels south of the Delta are at historic lows right now. So we anticipate a very dry year, at least initially this year. It's good to know that 35,000 acre-feet is going to be available for use by our customers in the upcoming water year, and it provides exactly what it was intended to provide, a method in which to provide greater reliability for water supplies for all of our customers. And with that, that would close my comments.
You want to tell the people at home how water banking is accomplished?
Sure, be happy to. Essentially, how that works is that some of the water from the canal that everybody's fairly aware of is siphoned off during the periods when we have excess water. That water is placed in what they call a water bank, which is nothing more than a bunch of vacant property that has been designed to allow the water to soak in the ground. That water that soaks into the ground reaches the deep aquifer and is stored there in what is called the bank. And we have groundwater wells that are constructed in the general area of where this water is to pump that water out during periods of drought, and it goes through a piping system so it can be delivered to our customers. So we essentially put water in the ground when we have it, and we remove it when we need it. And it's the process of moving that water in and out is the banking process.
So Robert told us about the cost is approximately $10,000. How did you come up with that figure?
We because water has varying price tags and different arrangements depending on the source of the water, the amount of transportation costs that are involved in getting the water from where it originates to the Antelope Valley. We used a deposit system. In other words, we anticipate the price will be about $10,000 an acre foot. If the price should come in less, then the water will be a refund of some of that deposit. If it comes in a little bit more, then there'll be additional costs that will be associated with that development because we don't know where that water's coming from.
Okay, I guess the question that I would have is, what is the current cost of water per acre foot?
It's approximately, the full bore cost is about $800 to $900 an acre foot on an annual basis. But that's, I could give you a 30 or 40 minute explanation why the water is free. We're just paying for transportation costs. And essentially that's what it is. It's transportation and capital costs to get the water here. There's no actual cost for the water itself in the State Water Project.
So if we have a developer that comes in and they want to build some homes, each home is about an acre foot of water.
Correct.
Okay, so how do they buy enough water for that home for the future?
How it will work is that AVEC once Waterworks 40 determines the amount of water that's necessary for that particular development, they will indicate to AVEC how much water is necessary. AVEC will then go out and search the market to find a new water source that we can import into the Antelope Valley. And because of the majority of the infrastructure is already in existence, the $10,000 an acre foot is the cost of the water, the initial cost of the water, the purchase price of the water in order to be able to assign that water to AVEC from wherever the jurisdiction that currently has rights to that water.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Just real quickly, I wanted to thank the City of Lancaster, and in particular Robert. This has been a really collaborative effort. Nothing of this importance ever happens easily, and it's been about a three and a half year process for us to get to this point. And it's been a real pleasure working with AVEC and with the city to get this thing done. And we certainly expect our board to adopt this on the 3rd of September. And for us as one of the major purveyors up here in the Antelope Valley, it's one of the key components for us to feel confident that we can continue to provide water to our customers for an indefinite period of time. And that is a great burden that has been lifted from our shoulders, because it was a constant worry for those of us that work in the business. So thank you for your support, and thank you, Robert and Dwayne. It's been a real pleasure working with these folks.
So do you guys have any interest in taking over Cal Water for us?
Yeah, there's an awful lot of money on the table when it comes to Cal Water. That's the big problem.
That's a great question.
I was serious.
I was looking for the right answer.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for waiting all this time. I really appreciate your patience.
Actually, I really appreciated being here tonight. It was a wonderful experience for me, and I was very glad that this was the night that we happened to have this on your agenda. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Robert. Okay, trying to find out where we're at. We did CA1, CA2, we did CA3.
CR1. We're at CR1.
CR1, it's in good shape. That's the report. No housing authority, no financial authority, no power authority, no successor agency. City manager.
Just a couple quick ones. I appreciate Michael Reeves bringing up grants. I really want to commend our staff. It's really hard to go after grants, and it's easier just when you get a grant notice to click it and say goodbye, because it's a lot less work, but our staff doesn't do that. They get a lot of grants from various sources, and that's a testament to how much they care about the organization. An odd thing came up. We just got a list of the 100 top cities for best drivers, and Lancaster made the top 100 in the United States. There's only 11 cities in California.
That's wonderful. For the best drivers?
Somewhat shocked, yes, but yes. It's actually, I think it's a testament to the Sheriff's Department, too, because good drivers, enforcement helps with good drivers, so I think that's a big deal. We'll be putting a press release out on that.
Yeah, I have to tell my husband that, because he keeps saying I'm not a good driver.
I've seen Marco drive. He didn't help our effort. And lastly, I wasn't going to bring this up because every time someone says nice, we get accused of it being gratuitous to bring it up. Every time someone has something negative, it's okay to say it. But Trevor Jones, longtime resident of the Antelope Valley and a realtor, took out NAB with his own money to thank the city council and city staff for the things that have been happening in the city. And I think that's really nice, and I want to say thank you, and I know you do too, to Trevor. That was a very nice thing to do, and it means a lot.
I saw it. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, I think it put a smile on all our faces, because for him to do that with his own money and to take the time to say what he said was very meaningful, and we really appreciated it.
Yeah, I respect Trevor's opinion as well, and for somebody as an independent business person in Lancaster to acknowledge that, I'm very appreciative.
City clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for you to address the City Council on items that are not on the agenda. You'll find speaker cards at the back of the council chambers. We ask that you fill them out completely and print as clearly as possible so that if necessary, the City Council, City Manager, and City staff will have your contact information. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. If you choose to ask a question during this time, any response by council will not extend your 3 minutes. When you approach the podium, you'll see 3 lights. The green light comes on when your time begins. The yellow light comes on when you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light comes on when your time is up. We ask that you be considerate of the allotted time to allow other speakers to have their 3 minutes as well. Following this procedure will allow for a smooth and timely process for the meeting. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
Linda Bashar.
Good evening. I'm a third-generation Hispanic that's exercising her right as a citizen. So I have an issue that's rather negative, but I was compelled to bring this up because it's really been bothering me. On Monday, the 19th of August, I found a dead dog in my front yard. I immediately called the animal control and requested that the animal be picked up, and was told it would be reported to the local animal control office. I was told the dead dog would be picked up when the officer was able to get to it based on the order of urgency of other calls. I was concerned that the outdoor temperature, which was near 100, would affect the presence of the dog there, and the dog was beginning to emit an odor. And I had children walking home from school that could see the animal there in the front yard, and I was concerned about them becoming traumatized over it. The animal was not picked up that day. The following morning, I again called the animal control office and was told the animal would be picked up when the officer could get to it. I told them that the animal was beginning to smell and that it was laying next to the neighborhood mailbox, which ensured that my neighbors were not going to be very happy about the animal being there either. And I know that they also called the animal control office. Later that afternoon, I again called the animal control office and reached an officer. I explained that this dog hadn't been picked up for 2 days, and she then indicated the animal would be picked up and that they would ensure that the animal would be removed as soon as they could get to it. She also indicated they were overburdened due to the high volume of calls, and they only had one officer to service the Lancaster area, that was all Lancaster contracted for, which I was incredulous because it's such a large area and only one officer to man the calls that they were getting was kind of an impossible task, I'm sure. There have been so many problems with dogs roaming through the neighborhood and irresponsible dog owners not maintaining their animals. And this was just an indication of how bad it had gone, because nobody came around to retrieve the animal at all.
Linda, do you know who you spoke with?
Yes,
Could I have that person's name?
Rachel Montez. Also, in addition to the problem with the lack of manpower, the numbers of dogs that are allowed in Lancaster are a total of 3. My house is completely surrounded by owners that have at least 3 dogs, and the barking is incessant. Is there any way, I don't know how you would accomplish this, I'm just saying that if the numbers of dogs could be reduced.
We're going to fix it right now.
Okay, I appreciate it.
See that guy in the tie back there? If you'll go talk to him, he'll fix it for you.
Okay,
Okay?
all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Maria?
Hi there. I feel like I had to stay. It's just because of, what I saw. I always feel like I've been drugged through something by the time I get up here. I'm just exhausted. I feel like I've been drained. But anyway, from what I saw up here, tonight, what I see every day, what you did up there to present all that was, I would like to thank you for that, because it's something that's needed to be out there for a long time to talk about. A lot of people, have been hurt, and they still are, and I can't believe that to see that no one was appalled or whatever by what they saw up there or the numbers or what they heard kind of makes me think, too, that I think a lot of people are, desensitized by a lot of things. Like, it doesn't, they don't even notice it or anything, what's going on. And what else did I want to say? There's a lot more. I know there's a lot more I wanted to say. I think that something needs to be done about that. I mean, that's basically just saying they're just killing people, is basically what that is. And also with the other issue with the immigration and stuff too, listening to people talk, bring up things about their experiences and things with that, really brought something to mind. I was teaching a classroom where I had kids that were from all over. Most of them were Hispanic, some African American kids, and only a few white kids. And the kids in there were really good kids, and we'd sit in the classroom and talk about the experiences that we had and things also, with losing their families, seeing people killed every day, and things from where they were from. And even though my class had gotten the best writing skills and everything for even in a few months, I was told that I could no longer teach there either, because I was upset because the Title I fundings and things weren't going for the kids. None of that money was going to help these kids, even though they said they were. And what they were allowing to happen at that time was other children that had come in there could do anything that they wanted and cause problems and havoc, and these kids were good kids. They weren't causing any problems. And to me, that's what immigration. If you come to a country, you have to, respect the country, respect the people around you, respect the rules, do what's best for the, for the people and everything there. I'm sorry, I'm just,
That's okay. Take your time.
yeah. My question, too, is these things should be considered a crime? Are these things crimes? I believe that they are crimes. Specifically because these things have been planned, and I think that's what makes them a crime. Things like theft and murder and fraud and kidnapping and property theft, intellectual theft, all those, and is deleting and destroying information a crime? I think that is as well. To pretend like these things don't happen or just, avoid that these things aren't happening, I think that's a crime as well. I know you're going to probably cut me off here pretty soon.
I am. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, there's a lot of public info, some things that I wanted to bring up, but I was hoping that it was going to be, broadcast, that I could get some of the information out there for people so that they know what's going on, too, because I think a lot of people know there's things going on to them, but they don't know what to do or how to take care of it. And I think that's a big problem, too. They're letting all these other things overrun them, and it's a big problem. I'm afraid that pretty soon we're going to lose everything, that everything's going to be just, gone here. Our way of life and everything is going to change. It already has. It's changed.
Okay, Maria, we're going to work on
Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. I appreciate it, okay? Thank you.
David Paul's not here. Mr. Reeves. Please do not talk bad about the fair because it was so good.
Okay, well, I enjoyed the fair, Vice Mayor Chris, but however, I don't think it's very consumer-friendly. And I'm talking about the concessions at the fair. The prices are prohibitive. I mean, here you are out there on a hot day, and you want a soda, and they're selling sodas for $3 or $4, small sodas. And if you're hungry, forget it. $7 for a slice of pizza. First of all, I think that we ought to consider having the fair maybe later in the fall or early in the spring to make it conducive to people visiting. It's just too hot to have it in August.
Michael, do you know where all that money goes? Are you aware that it goes to put on functions like the 4.0 dinner that, we have an extreme large number of students that graduate with 4.0. All that money that they make at the fair, they put back into the community through scholarships, through recognition dinners, through everything. So I agree with you. It's a lot of money. It's more than just going to the store. But the profit that is made doesn't go to any individual. It goes to the community. It goes back into the community in the form of scholarships. It goes back into the community in form of recognition. But we have a huge amount, over 1,000 people that actually volunteer at that fair to put it on. It's a great event, and I agree with you. It's expensive, but it's more palatable if you know where the money's going.
Well, one reason for the fair is to honor the community and bring the community together. That's one thing. You have to make up your mind. Do you want to use it as a community event, or do you want to use it as a money-raising event? If you want to use it as a money-raising event, why can't we have service clubs provide the food? Why do we have to have these outside vendors like that?
No, we do. We do
prices?
have the service vendors, such as 4-H. They go in there, the Emblem Club. I could name them off forever, the service clubs. There's the majority of vendors there, they make their profit. Any profit goes to the Friends of the Fair through their portion. So it's only about 20%
of the net proceeds go as profit.
Well, my personal opinion is, it's nice it's going, but it's supposed to be convenient for the people who go to the fair too. I mean, the idea to provide refreshments and make it a nice affair and help you survive the heat is, you can't do that when you have to pay $5 for a Coke. Finally, how about changing the fair to a time of year when it's not so hot? Is that possible?
We actually looked at it several times to look at it, but this is the time that it's a coordination between all the other fairs. So if you take a look at when all the vendors, they do a circuit, and as the circuit moves around the state, it's our turn, and it happens to be at that time. So that's why the fair was moved back, actually, was to give the vendors time to move from our fair to the LA County Fair.
Okay.
So we have looked at it. Thanks, Michael. Council comments?
I think just continuing a little bit more about the fair, I think it was a success, celebrating 75 wonderful years of history at the fair.
Diamonds.
And I did. It was fun. And Mr. Rees, on yours, I love pizza, and I have to tell you that I was there 9 days out of the 10, and I had a slice of pizza every day, and it was $2.50. So I'm not sure where you got your slice of pizza, or there might have been some diamonds in your pizza.
Oh.
However, it was good pizza, and I understand what you're saying, for families to be able to buy the food, but Vice Mayor is making a great point of where the money goes, and we definitely support that, and had a great, great fair.
Maybe we ought to take Michael and next year, maybe take him on a tour and enrich him on the history of the fair.
Well, that's a great point. Actually, Mr. Rees, we'd love to do that, because I think that's what they did this year, is gave tours prior to the fair starting to let you know where everything is, and that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, maybe we could take you. There's some close friends that with the Rural Museum, so we could see the history of it, because some of the comments that you made, there's a lot of service groups that really derive a lot of income from the fair at that time. It's always been that way. I mean, I've lived here my entire life, and it's always been that way. Anyway, we'll offer that. We'll take you next year and give you a tour.
And just one more thing, I'm still waiting for my diamond, so just let us know when that happens. I'll be
That's
okay with that.
Marvin's job. He's
Okay. All right. Anybody?
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to go into conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code, Section 54956.9D2. We have 3 potential cases, and conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9A.
For the items listed on the agenda.
That's not here.
I know. It allows me to say something every week.
Are you going to charge us for that? We're back in session. City Attorney.
In closed session, the council discussed one matter of anticipated litigation, as well as City of Lancaster versus Housing Authority of the County of Los Angeles, City of Lancaster versus Antelope Valley Allied Arts Association, Quartz Hill Cares versus Lancaster, Coalition for Open Government versus Lancaster, Palmdale versus Lancaster, Rubin versus Lancaster, Save Our Neighborhood Group versus Lancaster, and Miracle Star versus Lancaster, and gave direction to council on each of those items.
Okay, thank you. We're going to adjourn in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, 50 years ago, delivered his I Have a Dream speech, August 28th, 1963. City Council is adjourned until Tuesday, September 10th, 2013 at 5 o'clock.